Well, hello, EKN Nation. Welcome to the second edition of our Superkarts USA SuperNationals 28 Debrief. We wrap up our EKN trackside coverage. Episode 160 of the Debrief, Thursday, November 20th, 2025. My name is Rob Howden. David Cole, of course, on the podcast as well. This week's show, this edition of the show, presented by Stilo USA. As a world leader in personal racing safety products, Simpson Performance Products is now the official North American distributor for Stilo helmets. In addition to their popular auto racing helmets, Stilo is excited to have made their move into karting. Stilo has 4 helmets designed and manufactured specifically for karting, new for the 2026 season. The ST6 CMR0, the ST6 CMR Light, the ST6 KRT Carbon, and the ST6 KRT Composite. Complete your safety gear with the Stilo Carbon Curva Rib and Chest Protector. For more information, check them out at stilohelmets.com or by following them on social media at Stilo USA. Good start there, Dave, with the Stilos. We talked about them yesterday. You and I are definitely going to be wearing Stilos when we race in 2026. That new, the CMR0, ridiculously light. Can't wait to get that thing on my head. Especially, they market it for the kids, right? In my mind, it's for old guys too. I need a light helmet.
Yeah, especially with those that don't work out and have like weak neck muscles for sure.
Exactly right. All right, sorry, I got off on a tangent there with the Stilo. Indeed, second installment of our debrief podcast for this year's SuperNationals. Of course, we did 5 classes yesterday. The remainder happening today. The event, as you all know, November 12th through the 16th, just last weekend. We're only a few days away from that. Out at Las Vegas Motor Speedway once again. Weather, as we talked about yesterday, perfect from Wednesday through to Friday. We did have that Saturday afternoon rain that ended up being pretty significant at the end of the day on Saturday. They ended up moving the final 4 pro heat races and the LCQs to Super Sunday morning. David, when we got there on Sunday morning, it was a lot cooler. Let's put it that way. I had the long johns on. We had our jackets on. But thankfully, after some early sprinkles through the day, we ended up with sun for the remainder of the racing.
Well, it was sun early. It was there for the opening ceremony, so that was good.
It was good.
But then, as the racing got on, it looked like it was threatening rain, but never happened. And then we went into the night hours of racing under the lights for I think at least 4 of the last races.
Yeah, a lot. We knew that it was going to push. Obviously, it was like about a 2-hour addition to the schedule on Super Sunday that didn't run on Saturday evening. So we kind of knew that it was going to be a longer day. And as normally happens with the podiums and the time afterwards from whatever, we end up going pretty deeper past schedule. So it was a late night for everybody. No doubt about that. Let's, again, in this initial segment, kind of have a quick look at the numbers as well, by the numbers. We did that in yesterday's podcast as well. David, it ended up 576 total entries. The most we've seen in X30 Junior in the last 5 years. 59 drivers in X30 Junior.
Yeah, they expanded this year, thus going past the 44 mark or roughly around the 44 mark, and only got 13 extra from last year. So I got to assume they're going to look at that and be like, hey, we don't need to expand X30 Junior. We can either expand another category or save the time in the schedule for sure.
100%. You're right. Exactly that. Again, like I said, there's a time in the schedule to expand a certain number of categories. I think, Dave, you mentioned yesterday, hey, maybe you open up Mini Swift. Maybe Mini Swift can go back up to 65 or 70 or 80.
Or even
not doing it.
Or even KA Senior. That was almost, I think they said the wait list was almost 30 drivers. They could have opened that up to 120. We could have had a very unique format for that category where they probably raced all day long rather than just morning session.
Really?
Well, again, when
That's
you look
an
at this,
idea. You're right.
Well, think about it, Rob. When you
right.
open it to 120, you either you're gonna try and race everybody, or you're gonna have to split them up into at least 8 different groups. So yeah, one good positive of that, and something we've already looked at, or at least I have. It shrinks up the heat race numbers in terms of karts on the track.
On the track, yeah.
So that is a little bit better. So I have it right in front of me. So you'd have it 60 and 60. So you'd have 30 in each heat race. So 10 less karts on the racetrack, a little bit better in terms of track management for that, but definitely puts a loop in the schedule for sure when you try and put 8 race groups together.
Yeah, no kidding. So yeah, there's other options, folks, of where they decide to put the open expanded categories. We know, of course, the expansions were for Pro X30 and Pro Shifter. 90 drivers in the Pro X30 category, another high number over the last 5 years. 2021 to 2022 at 87 entries, 90 in Pro X30, 78 drivers in Pro Shifter. David, both of those categories, the most we have seen in the last 5 years.
Yeah, it's a record for Pro Shifter. I was going to talk about that later, but I'll say it now. Yeah, it's the largest we've ever seen for Pro Shifter at 78. So that was a record. We've seen a bit larger before when it was Tag Senior, which was 95 back in 2008. That first year back to the Rio, we had 94 in 2017. The last year we were at the convention center. So yeah, this is only, this is only the third time we've seen 90 or above.
Well, for Pro X30, for me, the big jump from the last couple of years, right, Dave? 63 in 23, 61 in 24. And again, we see nationally that Pro X30 normally isn't a massive group, but I think a lot of Europeans coming in for this year, a lot of international drivers coming in, maybe some other drivers wanting to go to Supernats and have that experience in that Pro X30 category. To go up 29, that's pretty amazing from last year. 90 all told, then of course, the capped mini Swift, not surprisingly, sold out 46 drivers. 576 total. David, where did it slot in again? I know that we talked about it yesterday, but let's do it in this podcast as well. If people like to only listen to one or the other, where does 576 slot in the history of the Superkarts USA SuperNationals?
Yeah, third highest ever that we've had. Beats last year, which was the third highest at 550. So 576 puts us 10 behind the second ranked event, which was 2022, the 25th running of the SuperNationals. But of course, the largest being from 2013 at 602. But again, this is the largest with only 9 categories, where 2022 was 10 and 2013 had 12 categories.
Yeah, 2013, same year that the Rotax Grand Finals was run at NOLA Motorsports Park in Louisiana, kind of through a partnership with the Rotax folks, Max Speed and SCUSA. They decided to add Rotax categories to the Supernats. So drivers who would come over and run the Grand Finals a couple of weeks earlier were then able to move and potentially come and double dip and come to the SuperNationals as well. In this section, we don't normally do this in the opening segment of a podcast, but we are going to work through it. We're going to dive right into our Paddock Pass right now, presented today by Margay Racing. Check out Margay Racing's Spec Ignite class and their Arrive and Drive packages. Nothing matches the affordability and competitive level of the Ignite program. It's where the best driver wins over the best equipment. Bring your safety gear and Margay will take care of the rest. This year's Ignite majors include WKA Daytona Kart Week, Quincy Grand Prix, USAC karting, Elkhart Riverwalk Grand Prix, and the Rock Island Grand Prix on Labor Day weekend. The Midwest-based Ignite Challenge Series will also hit 5 different tracks in 2026, and be sure to find a club running Ignite class in your part of the country next season. For more information, please visit ignitekarting.com. Get off the couch and into a race seat. All right, David, let's roll into the Paddock Pass here. A lot of the stuff you have lined up here, essentially,
it's all stuff we didn't hit on yesterday.
Yeah, and I can help you out with this. This stuff, for the most part, came through the opening ceremonies on Super Sunday.
Yeah, we didn't hit on any of that stuff that occurred during the opening ceremonies, but also some noteworthy prizes and obviously recognition for certain people. They did begin the opening ceremonies with a remembrance to karters that were lost on the year. Joshua Fine was one of them. Jeremy Hood, another who lost his battle with cancer. And of course, Chubba Boudijo, who passed away in a incident at Pittsburgh International Race Complex.
Yeah, I believe it's Josh Feeney. I think his last name is Feeney.
Sorry, yes.
Yeah. So Josh Feeney, Jeremy Hood, Hoodie, and Chubba Boudijo passing away this year. And again, that's it, during the opening ceremonies, Dave. I mentioned that we're here. When you're at the Supernatural, you're celebrating the sport, right? I remember the early days of it. We used to call it the U.S. Open of shifter kart racing. It kind of allowed everybody to come. You didn't need to be SCUSA. You could be WK, IKF, whatever it may be. You could come to that one big event at the end of the year. And so you celebrate the sport, but obviously, you want to take a time to step back and remember those who are important to those in the karting community that we lost each and every year. A few people pass for this from old age, some kind of a cancer, whatever it may be. So to take the opportunity to again, celebrate and remember those fine the people that we mentioned, Josh, Jeremy, and Chubba. From there, of course, Dave, we rolled right into the Superkarts USA Hall of Fame over the last number of years. It's never been a real consistent thing every year. This year, though, they did induct 2 new members, Chubba being one of them. Of course, all the work that he did with us, with Robbie and Andrew through Checker Motorsports, Magic Kart USA, big supporters of the Superkarts USA program. And last but not least, the guy that goes without knowing, obviously, Mike Manning, who's been around absolutely forever. I need to do an article on Mike. I've known him since about, I think, 97 when I first met him at the HPV Pro Invitational. I was working for National Kart News then, and his son, Kevin, ended up winning that race. And I had a fantastic weekend getting to know Mike there, Mike and Kevin. But listen, the Manning name has been part of this sport for so many years. And I chatted briefly with Mike after the opening ceremony and congratulated him, of course. And he talked about the fact that I think he kind of found the sport, and then that was it. The minute he found it, he was done, left the job that he was in. And at that point, Mike Manning karting started right there. He's one of those stories where, man, this is my thing. I found it, and this is what I'm doing for the rest of my life.
Yeah, well, he's been a figure since I've been in the sport that I can recall. Just again, one of those that is always at events. You always hear about, was racing for the longest time, and then finally, eventually hung up the helmet, but continues powering through, providing power plants and karts and everything in the Southern California area.
Yeah, big part of Southern California Karting, International Kart Federation, you name it. Mike Manning, he and Chubba Budashow definitely worthy inductees to the Superkarts USA Hall of Fame. One of the things, David, that happens there each and every year at the SuperNats, they have a really good partnership with BRM and their watches, the chronographs, and they end up giving out some beautiful $3,500 watches every year. This year was KA100 Senior and KA100 Junior. That, to me, is just a really cool memento. Trophies are one thing, but to be able to wear that thing around for success at the SuperNats, I think that BRM on the wrist is just so amazing.
Yeah, it's a great timepiece. Amazing to see. Obviously, Tom Kutcher always wearing his at the SuperNationals and elsewhere, and it's one of those unique prizes that you can either put up on the shelf or you can wear around whenever you feel fit. So definitely a unique prize.
The last 2 segments come together, and that is Brad Danoff from Visions Custom Designs Helmets. You've seen a lot of stuff from Brad lately. He's racing himself in the Master Shifter category, but doing a lot of people's helmets, a lot of racers in the Superkarts USA paddock and beyond. And he wanted to give back a little bit too. He came up and I gave him the mic very briefly. He wanted to give something back to the Mini and the Micro Swift drivers. He sees the watches and the money, going to the pro categories. And he said, hey, I want to do something for these kids as well. So essentially a brand new, a custom SuperNationals helmet to the Mini Swift and the Micro Swift winners. And that also part of a recognition, Superkarts USA, supporting young Pedro Cueto, that amazing inspirational story of the young man who last year raced at the SuperNats. The next week had to get his leg amputated. The decision based on what he was dealing with was this cancer in his leg, the whole deal. Ends up getting the fit to it, his prosthetic fit. So immediately, so he can go back racing again. His focus was just to get back behind the wheel. Dave, this kid's got so much passion for the sport. I was messaging with him yesterday. They're actually over in Europe at the WSK race, I think, this weekend running. So we'll be watching him there. But Scusa wanted to get behind him and support him. A brand new Superkarts USA, logoed Freem suit for Pedro. Plus Brad Danoff painted a brand new helmet for him as well, a Rye helmet. So super cool. But for Brad to step up for both the Mini Swift and the Micro Swift drivers, and to be part of that program for Pedro.
Yeah, he was back. I think it was January, or it might have been February I think it was February at the Challenge of America's back racing. So didn't take long for him. Really put in the work to make sure he was ready to go. Obviously, this whole year has kind of been unique for them because they're trying to figure out the trigger system and with throttle and how to place his leg, make that work so it's safe as well too. So definitely been a year of learning in terms of that, but he's also been getting better and better behind the wheel as well too. And I think he was one of the hard chargers in the mini Swift.
Dude, he had the fast lap of the race in mini Swift to the very last lap. I think it was Francisco. Is it Liam Francisco that runs in the mini category, or Jaden? So yeah, he pipped him in the very last lap. Pedro came from the deep in the field, had an issue. He was a hard charger and almost had fast lap of the race. If it wasn't for that last little pace out of Francisco. Very impressive. Super stuff. All right, there you go, folks. Let's get it. We'll wrap this segment up here. First commercial break. When we come back, let's get into the race report. We'll start things off with X30 Junior. History, success, family. Those are the three words that can describe Comet Kart Sales, one of the longest tenured karting businesses in the United States. The family-owned operation located just outside of Indianapolis has provided karts, parts, and services for thousands of racers in the near 6 decades of business. Their online store features everything you need, continually adding new parts to their product line. From full karting packages, new engines, spare or replacement parts, and safety gear, find it all at CometKartSales.com. Their Comet Racing Engine service has won multiple major events and championships over decades of karting and continues to offer the best trackside service in the industry, specializing in IAME X30, IAME Swift, and other 2-cycle power plants. Make sure to head to CometKartSales.com or call them at 317-462-3413 to be part of the Comet Kart Sales family today.
Welcome to AIM Sports and the groundbreaking Micron 6 karting data logger. Since its inception, AIM Sports has been at the forefront of motorsport technology, revolutionizing how racers gather data. From its early days, AIM has tailored its innovations to provide precise insights, allowing racers to fine-tune their strategies and push their limits. Fast forward to today, and we're excited to celebrate 30 years of Micron by introducing the latest evolution in karting data loggers, the Micron 6. Designed with cutting-edge features, including 25Hz GPS with mil-spec precision, a 6-axis inertial platform, shift lights and alarms, temperature inputs, and a host of wired and wireless expansions. With 2 CAN buses, Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi, it's perfect for karting enthusiasts looking to enhance their game on the track. With its advanced suite of sensors, high-speed data acquisition, and easy-to-use interface, the Micron 6 delivers unparalleled performance on track. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, this powerful tool helps you analyze every turn, every lap, even every heartbeat. Imagine a tool that not only records your lap times, but also analyzes parameters like speed, tire temperature, driver inputs, and engine performance. With the Micron 6, you'll gain insights that can shave seconds off your times and elevate your skills behind the wheel. Don't just drive, be data-driven. Join the AIM Sports community today and equip yourself with the Micron 6 to take your karting experience to the next level. Visit aimsports.com to learn more. AIM Sports, 30 years of Micron.
Welcome back to this edition of the EKN Debrief, episode number 160. This will cap off our EKN trackside coverage of this year's Superkarts USA SuperNationals, part 2 of our debrief for SuperNationals 28. Obviously, getting the first 5 categories done in the opening podcast. We're going to wrap things up with those 4 classes today: X30 Junior, Mini Swift, Pro X30, and Pro Shifter. My name is Rob Howden, joined by David Cole as we roll our way through here, unpack the final bits of SuperNats 28. Into the race report now, presented today by Franklin Motorsports. Franklin Motorsports is a leader in the karting industry with over 50 years of combined karting experience, and they can provide you with everything you need to go racing. With a large online product selection, select track support events, and a wide variety of shop services, Franklin Motorsports is your complete karting source. They specialize in IAME engines, tilt seats, and of course, their championship-winning Merlin chassis. They've been supplying racers with start-to-finish support at race events for years, from providing a helping hand on a weekday test outing or at a club event to arrive and drive packages at the highest level of karting competition. For all things karting, visit franklinkart.com. All right, David, let's get into this. 4 shows to talk about here right now, 4 races that capped off Super Sunday. Here's the headline for X30 Junior. Hugendorn claims victory in SuperNationals debut.
Yeah, X30 Junior's always been one of those categories to watch at the SuperNationals. A lot of young, up-and-coming drivers that have made their way through the category.
Yeah.
None more than some of the international drivers that did come over, including Dean Hugendorn, who set fast time in qualifying at 48.408 to beat out John Antonino, who was second in both the junior categories in qualifying. Ashton Woon in third, Royce Vega fourth, and Travis Pettit rounding out the Fast Five. We got into the heat races where it was actually Travis Pettit picking up 2 heat race wins, the only driver to do so over the 3 rounds of racing over Friday and Saturday, as Pettit picked up the opening heat with Ashton Woon picking up the second heat in the round 1. Pettit and Tristan Murphy won in heat round number 2, and then it was John Antonino and what's his first name? I can't think of it now.
I 100% just went blank on it.
Oh my gosh. Looking it up. Archie Owen, coming through with a heat race win in round 3. Now I'm trying to pull up the file again.
You pull that up while I say something.
Owen was actually a P7 qualifier overall, had issues in both opening rounds of heat races for himself. Came through in this one. This one was actually in the wet come Saturday afternoon. So yeah, definitely showed the wet weather skills, as did Antonino, who beat out Hugendorn in a great little battle in the wet as well.
Yeah, well, a couple of things I just picked up from the heat races. Obviously, Ashton Woon coming back from that really disastrous morning, right, on Friday morning, able to get a win in his heat race after getting taken out in both of the opening heat races. But again, Travis Pettit, like you said, David, qualified P5, but 2 wins coming out of the gate. Impressive in his Friday heat races. And then, as you'll say, although he did not win a heat race, Dean Hugendorn, his consistency through those 3 runs, those 3 10-lap races, put him on the pole for the main event.
Yeah, it's 3 runner-up finishes in his 3 heat races, so that certainly puts you on the pole position. Pettit second with his 2 wins, Tristan Murphy third, Ashton Woon fourth, and then Eli Steinbruck starting in the 5th spot. He had finishes of 4th, 7th, and 3rd after qualifying 9th overall.
As you go into the race, you talked about one guy you didn't talk about winning a heat race. You didn't see him in the top 5, but he was fast in the KA100 junior category, and eventually, David, came to the forefront here as well, and that's Michael McGoy. Started in the 7th position, but quickly worked his way to the front. Yeah,
quickly up front. As you said, had good results in KA. He went 5th, 6th, and 4th in the heat races for X30 Junior, but starting 7th, moved his way up to the lead early. And then Hugendorn put himself back into the lead on lap 6 before Pettit took over the top spot on lap 9. It was Pettit and Hugendorn that worked together. They were able to push away from the field. And,
they worked together.
They worked together. They did it. Everybody else was battling for 3rd. You could see some of the frustration in those in that group. Like, they're getting away. No.
Every time they came out of turn 7, right, going over to turn 8, they're looking back at each other like, what are we doing?
Yep.
Yeah.
So eventually it ended up being a 2-driver fight for the win over the last couple of laps. The last lap, or lap 21, it was a great move by Hugendorn, who went around the outside in turn 4 and 5 to take away the advantage that Pettit had in the defensive line going in that section. Hugendorn was able to hold the outside, get to the lead as they made their way towards turn 6, and that was it. That was the winning move. Pettit wasn't able to respond. Hugendorn was able to hold him off to the checkered flag, winning by just under 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, Hugendorf with the win. Pettit coming home in second. Max Ewell overall, a really good run for the RPG driver on the Cosmic. His debut at the SuperNationals, I believe. Ewell coming home in third. Woon was still in the fight there. Again, that battle for third on back, like David talked about, was an epic one. There was a lot of drivers as they kept fighting again. We talked all about it. More drivers started arriving on the scene. It was a big pack kind of running for those last couple of spots on the podium. And indeed, some of the drivers I'm talking about here didn't actually end there. Ewell, Woon, McGoy. Give me a second. Give me a second. Ewell, Woon, McGoy was the top 5, David, but there were some other drivers that had worked their way up there.
Yeah, one of them was Jackson Porter. He started 20th, got his way all the way up into the 4th spot. Unfortunately, a pushback bumper penalty dropped him down to 8th, so that moved Woon back up into 4th and McGoy into 5th.
Yeah, great job for Jackson Porter starting back in the 20th spot. So again, like I talked about, as they were racing third on back, there were more guys that kind of worked their way in there and started to infiltrate that group up, that second group, and Jackson did a great job. Sad to see that pushback bumper, but it happens. But again, he can say that he was able to work his way up to P4. David, there were a couple of drivers that were able to get big runs forward and 18 spot improvements, a couple of hard charges. First, Jackson Gibson on the Gallard for Nelson Race Concepts. He started 36th. He split the difference, went up to 18th. And then essentially right behind him, I'd have to go back and wonder if they actually came together because Jose Halfin started 37th, finished 19th. I don't know this. I didn't kind of watch that, of course, that part of the race. But you wonder whether or not they just locked together and came forward together, right?
That's what I was just going to try. I was trying to pull it up, but I can't find their names in the. There's nope, that's the wrong driver. You have to think they kind of worked together.
They were coming together,
right?
Sure.
It looks like, where are they on the? Oh, there's Jackson Gibson. There they are. No, that's the wrong person I'm looking for. This lap chart, see, it doesn't give you the full name, so it's very hard to pick out. So they actually were kind of together. It looks like Jackson got him on the last lap. So
wow! So Halfin may have been the guy that was leading the way.
Halfin was there, then Jackson took over, then Halfin got back ahead of him. But as they were passing each other, they were making their way forward. So there you go.
All right, folks. We always do predictions, as you know. We talked about it. I think I was behind by 1. David had me by 1 after the first 5 categories. Let's see how things roll in here for X30 Junior.
Not very much points there, Rob, in this category for either of us. You did edge me out 5 points to 3.
Now this says you edged me out 5 to 3.
Oh, sorry, me. Yes, my apologies. I looked at the wrong name.
I think I might have had Woon and Pettit.
You only had Woon. Let me double check that because I only have Woon. Have you down for having Woon in the top 5?
Pettit wasn't top 5. Pardon me. I was looking at the wrong one.
Pettit was. Well, Pettit was.
Oh, he was second.
Was top 5. Hold on. Give me a second. Let me look. You go over the numbers.
I'm 100% pulling
the numbers right there in front of you.
So I know. I can see the numbers, but I don't know what it was. You got 5 points. I got 3 points on that one. I think you picked Hugendorf.
You did not have Pettit in the top 5. You did it. KA. Yeah. So there you had Weiland.
And I didn't pick Hugendorf.
Let me go through this. You had Weiland, Max Weiland, Noah Baglin, Eric Doan, Ashton Woon, and Sarah Bradley.
Yeah, I didn't. And Noah and Baglin didn't get in there for me. Sarah ended up
not racing. Doan was in the back.
He got wrecked. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Had to come
Weiland was in the middle. So, you had one driver, but you did correctly pick that driver to finish in the 4th spot, which was Ashton Woon. I had Hugendorn, Woon, and McGoy all in the top 5, and I did pick Woon in the 4th spot. So
there you go. All
so
right.
I did get 5 points over your 3.
So I'm down by. I think I'm down by 3 now coming into the next one. All right.
I'll let you do the math.
All right. All right. Break. When we come back again. The race report brought to you by Franklin Motorsports continues. When we get back after this little short break, Mini Swift will be up next. What brand is known around the world for its innovation and success? It is SodiKart. The Sodi brand returned in full force during the 2023 season thanks to a new exclusive importer, the karting distribution led by industry veteran Terry Germanovich. The French manufacturer SodiKart is a leader within the karting industry, offering a wide range of products and services. The Sodi Racing chassis line offers products in classes from mini karts to KZ, all based on years of development and championship seasons around the world. Sodi Racing USA has expanded its dealer network over the last year, bringing the Sodi brand to several local clubs and regional programs. Sodi USA by Velocity Racing is the official race team in the United States for the brand, hitting all the major events and series throughout the season. Visit Sodi-Racing-USA.com to learn more about the Sodi Kart chassis or call 954-634-5111 to become part of the Sodi Racing USA network today. Sodi Kart, the world leader in the karting industry. Parolin is among the winningest brands in the USA and around the world. The Parolin Le Mans full-size chassis for junior and senior classes and the Parolin Opportunity model for cadet divisions have earned success weekend after weekend at all the major championships and events in both the USA and throughout Europe. The Parolin chassis lineup also includes the Invader shifter, along with the Daytona 4-cycle chassis and the Delfino Kid Kart. Karters can head to the ParolinUSA.com website where the entire chassis line and parts are available to you, with shipping available all across North America. Parolin USA partners with several companies and race teams across the country to provide a strong dealer network to represent the brand locally and at the national level to support drivers throughout North America. Get on the chassis that's winning. Drive a Parolin. Back at it here with the EKN Debrief, episode number 160, as we unpack the final components of the SuperNationals 28 event out at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, all part of the Superkarts USA SuperNationals or national level program. Let's dive now into the mini Swift category. The headline, Matcha triumphs with last lap move.
Yeah, it was a sweep for Maxwell Matcha at the SuperNationals. It wasn't that easy, however. It looked that easy through qualifying in the heat races, as he was the driver to beat through those sessions. A lap time of 52.879 put him on top of the qualifying time charts, ahead of Jake Manello, Santiago Orlioli, Mora Nario, and Tanner Barsh rounding out the Fast Five. Matcha took, as I said, all three heat races. The first two ahead of Liam Nakawati, who, sorry, I don't have my sheet. I got too many freaking files going on right now.
Nakawati was impressive. If you have a look at live timing of qualifying, he started a little bit further back, but man, he put on a show. Came through very, very early. And again,
qualified 11th. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, so outside of row number 6. Good starts up to the front, and yeah, he was right there with Matcha, and in fact led for a time, I believe, too. They kind of went back and forth in those heat races.
So yeah, Nakawati was right there through the opening 2 rounds of heat races. A third heat under the wet conditions, as we talked about, made it a little bit tricky. Matcha had to fight his way to the win in that one, holding off charging Parolin drivers of Asher Pavan and Ivor Spence. Pavan finished starting 18th. Spence in the 9th position, so the rain was able to allow them to move up and to kind of shake things up, as that put, again, Mach is still on the pole position, but it was Santiago Orlioli starting second for the main event, Tanner Barsh now third, Jake Manalio in 4th, and then Spence now up into the 5th spot with that 3rd place finish.
Yeah, big run there for Spence to get himself up to P5 inside of row number 3 starting spot for the main event. And David, the opening lap was a good one, a little bit wild coming into turn number 1, and obviously over to 4 and 5 as well.
To be honest, Rob, I don't remember the start. So if you can remember it.
So it obviously shakes down with Santiago Orlioli going to the front from the outside of the front row. And again, this was the thing with Machi. He kind of fell back a little bit early on in the opening lap, but did eventually get himself back to the front. At that point, again, this is kind of why I was throwing it out there. Macha and Nakawati had worked together through some of the heat races, David. They lined up again and started doing it again for the main event. Again, the mains for the cadets was 20, other categories 22, the pros 25. So through that 20-lap run, Macha and Nakawati hooked up and just started to push away to make it a 2-driver battle.
Yeah, they were able to get away. That was for sure. But once they started racing, come 2 laps to go, that's when the second pack and the other drivers were able to join back in, making it. I think it was at least 6 drivers there in the end. Nakawati had the lead at the white flag, but Macha was able to get through in turn 10 when Nakawati left the door open to the inside. Burgess followed him through, leaving Nakawati on the outside. He actually made contact with Jaden Francisco, who was one of the hard chargers coming up. He was way behind the group, charged his way forward, was able to catch up to the lead pack and be there at the end. But unfortunately, contact with Nakawati kind of slowed their pace. But up front, it was Macha who was able to cross the line first ahead of Zane Burgess, as the Paralympic drivers finished 1-2 at the line.
Yeah, just under 0.3 of a second at the line. Liam Nachawati ended up finishing 4th position on the road, but got a penalty for blocking, dropping him down into the 4th spot. Oliver Williamson was able to get up there, and David had mentioned it wasn't just one driver. Sorry, guys, that got up there close. There was a bunch of guys in that lead group once Nachawati kind of went on the defensive. Williamson able to get through, started 15th. He was able to get himself into 3rd spot. With the penalty for Nachawati, David, that moved Tanner Barsh up into 4th position. Just a great overall season for the kid out of Texas.
Yeah, blocking penalty for Nachawati, moving Tanner Barsh up into the 4th spot. He was trailing that group there on the last lap there, but obviously contact between Nakawati and Francisco allowed him to get ahead of Francisco by the time they got to the checkered flag. The penalty to Nakawati, moving him up to 4th, and then Francisco now up onto the podium in 5th spot after starting back in 19th.
Yeah, and we already mentioned him in the paddock pass, but Pedro Cueto, we talked about him on that the Bennick, started 31st, up to 17th. At one point, had the fastest lap of the race. I think to the very, very end, had the fast lap of the race. But Pedro able to work his way forward very impressively up into 17th spot. In the predictions, David, another win for you. 5 for you, 4 for me. How did it shake down?
Yeah, I only had 2 in the top 10. One of them being Williamson. So that gamble paid off there. And then Francisco being in the top 5. So that helped out. And fortunately for me, I had Williamson finishing 3rd. So I got the 3 bonus points there to give me 5. You had Macha, Burgess, and Francisco in the top 5, but you also had Francisco finishing in the 5th spot. So an extra point for you, giving you 4 points. So just a mere 5-4 score in Mini Swift.
Yeah, that was a close one. All right, folks, let's go to another break. When we come back, it's time to roll into the pro categories. We'll start with Pro X30. The new face of competitive karting in the Pacific Northwest region is RaceLab. The full-service karting operation is located at the state-of-the-art Kartplex facility in Oliver, British Columbia, Canada, providing everything you need to hit the track or put yourself in a successful driver development program. RaceLab is the official North American distributor for the TB Kart chassis brand, providing the full range of models from kid kart to shifter kart. Villeneuve Racing Karts is their flagship product, available only through RaceLab. The brand carries the name of Formula One champion and Indianapolis 500 winner Jacques Villeneuve, with each model produced by TB Kart. Kartplex, the home of RaceLab, is situated on the grounds of the Area 27 Motorsports Park. From full arrive and drive TB Kart rentals to leagues and competition karting, the facility provides a new home to developing the future stars of motorsports, all beginning at Kartplex with RaceLab. Follow RaceLab on social media on Facebook and Instagram, or load up their website at www.theracelab.ca to learn more about TB Kart and Villeneuve Racing Karts. RaceLab. Race with us, win with us. CRG is one of the most iconic brands in the world of karting, with a never-ending focus on winning. Kart CRG USA is the North American distributor for all CRG products. Based outside of Houston, Texas, Kart CRG USA supports CRG dealers across the continent, reaching every corner of North America. The CRG KT5 has been designed specifically for the US market. The KT5 is the perfect fit for X30, KA100, and other tag platforms, featuring the new Aero package and VEN 11B braking system. For cadet drivers, the CRG Black Beer continues to log in victories and championships across the globe, and is utilized in both 2-cycle and 4-cycle competition here in North America. Longtime CRG drivers will be happy to know the CRG Road Rebel, the standard in quality and performance, continues its excellence for those in the shifter kart ranks. The CRG FS4 chassis is the ideal choice for racers in Briggs and Stratton competition, with numerous podium results across classes at the CKNA divisional and national events. From pure racing to karting entertainment, many tracks, both indoor and outdoor, have made the switch to the CRG Centurion rental kart line. 5 different models for both gas-powered or electric engines can fit any track's needs for a new rental kart fleet. Kart CRG USA has a full inventory of rental karts available for new and existing facilities. For more information on the CRG product line, head to kartcrgusa.com, or to inquire about a North American dealer near you, please email us at sales@kartcrg.com. All right, let's dive back into the EKN Debrief here, episode 160. Time to have a look at Pro X30, the race report. Brought to you by Franklin Motorsports. Here is the headline, and what was a wild one: Lawrence wins in wild main event.
Rob, I don't know if we have enough time to talk about this.
We should do a full podcast on this one, right?
Let's start off with what happened over the opening days. Top
Fast
qualifier. What's that?
Fast forward through those, right?
Fast time in qualifying. Jake Drew, a 47.138, his second time setting fast time in qualifying for the Pro X30 category. Blake Nash, second. Alessandro Di Tullio in third. Mika Lemazurier.
Mika Lemazurier.
So there should be a Z in there. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
It's not, probably it's Lemazurier, not Lemazurier.
Surrier. There, thank you.
Took us all weekend to get it right.
Yeah.
Mika Lemazurier.
The driver for us from Australia, racing with Brandon Jarzcrack Racing in the 4th spot. And then probably one of the biggest surprises, not really, but yes, because she hasn't been in a kart for probably 2.5 years, but Hannah Greenmeyer in the Fast 5.
Yeah, no doubt.
Great to see her, the former Pro Tour champion, back in the kart, back with Mike Beanie. So it was like she had never left, and
exactly.
It was Fast 5. So it was great to see her up front all week long. In contention all week. Getting into the heat races, of course, defending winner Joe Turney made his statement in the opening round, taking a win there. Frankie Mossman, another contender that everybody was kind of looking at, he was able to come through with the heat win in the second heat for round 1. Going into round 2, Alessandro Di Tullio able to pick up the win ahead of ahead of actually Martinezzi, while in the second heat, it was Blake Nash picking up the win over senior rookie Alexander Vanchev. So we rolled into, tried to get the race in Saturday afternoon. Obviously, the red flag for Lillian Scarborough stopped everything that evening. All the races were moved to Sunday morning. So dry but colder conditions. So the track was dry. That's one thing that was positive. There were a couple weepers, as we talked about in the show yesterday. But essentially the track was dry, just a little bit cold. Jake Drew took advantage of that, starting on the pole position in the opening heat race to win there, while it was Gus Lawrence picking up the win in the second heat, coming up from qualifying 16th overall. Not sure if that was a penalty or not, Rob. I'm trying to remember how that race unfolded. I think that might have been a big pile up in the opening corner, to where everything went kind of crazy.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
I'm trying to remember that right now.
How about six different winners in the heat races?
That was, I think, the biggest news, because that the competition level was crazy in terms of that, to be able to see that. Yeah, Yeah, Lawrence did win it on track. Sorry, I was just trying to make sure I got my facts straight. So he did win straight up in the C versus D heat race to close out the action. So combining all the points, again, as you said, 6 different heat race winners. Alessandro Di Tullio earned the pole position with Jacopo Martinezzi in the second spot, Alexander Vanchev third, Ruben Moya, the Spaniard, in fourth, Joe Turney starting fifth, and Jake Drew starting in sixth.
Yeah, so here we go. Obviously, as everybody knows, it was a wild start coming into turn one, not surprisingly all the way through. Young Alexander Vanchev actually able to slip into the lead on the opening lap. Joe Turney jumped into second. There was a lot of action further back as kind of everybody kind of dialed in. Ruben Moya, David, was definitely a man on the move. Made a move to the inside, coming on the straightaway to get the pass done on lap number 6 into 1. Vanchev, actually, Moya had the lead. Vanchev was looking, that's it. Moya grabbed the lead, and then Vanchev was trying to come back to the lead, coming down into turn number 1, kind of went to the inside of 1, and that wasn't close to getting done. Right front to left rear contact, and he essentially rooted Moya into the wall on the outside of the corner. Moya stayed in the throttle. It was like just bouncing off the wall all the way around like Ross Chastain at Martinsville. Kept going all the way around the outside over to turn 3. Finally able to continue, but the damage for him was done at that point.
Well, the damage we thought was done, but he actually charged back forward. And
I didn't mean to the go-kart. I actually meant to his driver position on the racetrack, but you're right.
Yeah, position on the racetrack.
He was
able to continue. That was the wild thing. I didn't realize that he was able to continue. I went back because, again, I was at the far end of the racetrack in the last corner during this main event. So I could not see turn 1 from my vantage point because, again, I was 1,000 feet away.
Right.
So, yeah, I was not aware of the impact he had because he continued on. I think he was rejoined in like 12th at the time.
Wow.
So, again, as the race went on, he was still right there with a damaged cart. And I have to believe there was something bent in it because he hit the wall for probably at least 50 yards.
Yeah. Like I said, from turn 1 all the way over to 3, like all the way around the corner, just like I said, like Chastain running the wall at Martinsville, just all the way around the outside. It was, the contact was very similar to the year ago with Morgado and Kajak in the shifter where
I thought it was the exact same move.
Where Vanchev just threw it to the inside. It wasn't there. He didn't have it done and just got into the side of it and rooted him off the track.
The only difference, I think, Vanchev didn't hit the curb to where last year Morgado did hit the curb, which sent both of them into the wall, where Vanchev stayed out of the wall this time.
Also probably 10 miles an hour slower because it was a shift. It was in the shifter.
Good point.
Right? Or 15 miles an hour, whatever the difference is on terminal velocity.
So that contact essentially kind of put Turney back into the lead before Di Tullio reclaimed the top spot. And so all this fighting up front brought more and more drivers to the lead group. And Rob, at one point, I swear it was the entire front straightaway.
I know.
Was the lead group.
Yeah. It was nuts. Everybody was back into it. Nash was back into it. Lemasurier was back into it. It was just everybody was there.
Yeah.
And it just.
Yeah. So all this fighting that put Nash and Lemasurier kind of behind ADT and Turney at this point. But lap 18, Turney made a move to take the lead on ADT.
Turn 4 and 5.
Yep. Turn 4. It was kind of a strange move because Nash was like, I'm going to go to the inside of both of you. And so he kind of made it like a 3-wide move going into 5. He hit the inside curb. That sent him straight right, basically not even making the turn.
No. That
put him into ADT. Luckily for Turney, he was already just ahead of both of those drivers. Yep. So he was able to avoid it as both Nash and ADT went hard into the wall. Out of the race, done completely. Nash, I think, was able to roll on and hit pit lane, but yeah, ADT stuck there in the wall and saw his bid for a win go down the wayside.
Yeah, not really stuck in the wall, blasted through the wall, and then literally got out of the go-kart and walked away in disgust. Like I think he knew that he had a kart that could potentially win that. And it just was, I think, obviously he was trying to do the over-under on Turney after the pass. And then Nash was trying to do a double over-under thinking he was going to get it. And Nash essentially probably committed to the move. He was way down the inside. ADT's coming, Tutulia's coming back to the apex, as you would, right? Because Turney's got the outside run. He's over by the wall. Tutulia's coming back over, and at that point, when Nash had committed, the curb was the only place he could go, and that's what happened at the end of that one.
Yeah, kind of a low percentage move for Nash, something he didn't really need to do at that point. I think if he would have been, I think he was not close enough. I think if he would have been closer, like say on the rear bumper of Turney when he went and made this move, he might have been able to pull this off. But I think he came from too far back to try and make this over-under work.
And Dave, 7 laps to go.
Yeah.
Right? There was a long way to go.
I mean, again, you're kind of thinking that too, right? Because you're like, oh, there's only so many laps left. If I can get to the front, maybe I can hang on kind of thing.
Well, it didn't work out. Let's put it
No.
It opened the door for everybody else. Let's put it that way.
It did. It opened the door for Diego Ramos and Caden McQueen to now join the front as they were able to get up there to Joe Turney. When McQueen took the lead, or McQueen and Turney were both able, or McQueen and Ramos were able to get by Turney a couple of laps later. McQueen eventually was into lead. Ramos was now second. Ramos took the white flag as a leader. So last lap, Ramos in the lead. McQueen went for the over-under, left room in turn 4, just enough where Turney kind of got into the back of him, which put McQueen into the side of Ramos. So they push wide through turn 4. Turney kind of pulls the underneath both of them as Gus Lawrence now follows Turney through as they take over first and second through turn 5 as McQueen and Ramos are pushed wide through that section. Lawrence unable to make a move on Turney through the final lap or final corners, and Turney crosses the line first as the provisional winner ahead of Lawrence.
Oh, yeah, and all the action's done by then, right, Dave?
Sure.
No. So
no?
Yeah. So as they come across the line, folks, finish the cool down. They're all rolling their way down the back straightaway. They had to get single file to get into the scale line. McQueen comes around the bow. Turney ends up hard into the barriers, into the right side barrier, coming into the scale line. Once they get stopped, it appears that Turney has a half pushback on the right side. The Lawrence and Rolson Performance Group team start celebrating, thinking they're going to win this with the pushback. So let's go to there. Do you want to add anything else to that at that point?
Yeah, no. McQueen goes into Turney coming into the scales. Both he and Ramos are yelling at Turney, "What are you thinking? What are you doing? That was a bad move." To me, I thought it was less severe than what we saw at the Winter Nationals between Billy Musgrave and Gavin Bailiff. I thought it was just a little bit of a nudge to kind of send him, keep pushing him wide to allow him to come through and get underneath. So, Turney held his head up high, was confident in the move he made. They knew they were going to protest the pushback. From what I was told, I don't think the onboard camera was working, which hampered the pushback bumper penalty. Obviously, that was not able to be taken away. So thus, afterwards, after the podium ceremonies, obviously that penalty was going to stick no matter what. But they still got Turney for incident responsibility, so that essentially dropped Turney all the way back to the 11th position.
Yeah. So here's just a couple notes for me. In comparison to the Bailiff Musgrave bump and run at Speed Sports of the Winter Nationals, that was last lap, essentially on the last corner. Billy blocking hard to the inside, get on the brakes, essentially blocking. Whereas this one's more earlier in the corner, a pass is getting made, a pass is getting done, and that's more. Again, that's why I think that's more why the incident responsibility went to Turney on the contact with McQueen, because it wasn't last corner. McQueen wasn't blocking; he was making a move. And then Turney just kind of rooted him through as he was making the pass. So that's that bit there. Well, hold on. My opinion. Here's the other one I want to see, because when you go back to coming into pit lane, I've seen a post where I haven't talked to Caden about it, but he doesn't think he made contact with Turney at all. what I'd like to see, because I went back and looked at it, I would like to see either Martinez's or Ramos's video, because they're behind those two guys coming into the scale line. I want to know if there's contact or not.
There was contact with the rear of McQueen's card into I
don't know that.
Turney's.
I'd like to see it, because
it's on the broadcast.
David, I went back and looked at the broadcast again. Yeah. It's the camera focuses all in on the left front of Turney. I can't. If I was a race director with the kart chaser broadcast I'm looking at, I can't confirm that there was contact.
Well,
I'd like to see the video behind it. That's all I'm saying.
Here's part of the problem right now is the way they have that designed. It was made for only one cart to get through. Yep. And we saw, believe me, Rob, I saw probably 5 to 6 times guys getting together and crashing coming into that area, because for some reason, nobody wants to slow down to enter the pit lane. Yeah, they all want to go full speed to the braking zone in turn 1 and then go into the scale line. Which makes absolutely no sense, because the checker flag's already been waved. Now, in this situation, obviously was a little different, because McQueen was a little pissed off at what happened, at what Turney had done. And yes, the front of McQueen's cart does not make contact with Turney. However, they're trying to squeeze 2 carts into 1 cart space, so that's where the contact occurs. So it's not necessarily McQueen's wheel went to the right. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I'm just
there's contact. It's just, is it deliberate? Is it not deliberate? Again, that's up to the rule of Superkarts USA.
I'm just saying,
but again,
I would like to have seen that.
It's supposed to be single file. I, in my personal opinion, I think they need to do a cool down lap rather than going straight off into the pit lane, at least for the main events, just to kind of alleviate kind of some of this stuff.
Just I don't know. Kind of cool down.
Well, exactly. I mean, it just. There's got to be a different way to get the scale line working. It's just there's so many. This was not the first incident coming into the scale line. Believe me, there was one guy that literally climbed over and ran over somebody going into the scale line, because they just couldn't. They didn't slow down enough, or just didn't even give a shit. So.
That guy should have been parked. Simple as that. Okay, so here's what
I don't even think they have a camera there, Rob. I think that's kind of the problem is their cameras are out on the racetrack. I don't think they had a camera there to be able to see any of that stuff.
So here's what happens, folks. Just as it happened with Diego Ramos winning with a pushback bumper in KA 100 Senior, it's a provisional. You take the provisional result, rather. So the podium is done with Turney as the winner and Gus Lawrence in second. So in the end, we do the podium. It's done. As we know, pushback bumper, instant responsibility penalties. Where did Turney even finish after all? 11th, right?
With the pushback, and the penalty for contact. It wasn't. I don't think it was 2 incident. It's just 1 incident responsibility. I think they just included both cart numbers because they were both involved in this situation.
Okay, so and Ramos, who finished 4th after a great run, he gets a blocking penalty. He goes back to 14th. Vanchez finishes 6th on the racetrack. He gets a contact penalty for the contact with Moya. He goes back to 13th. Frankie Mossman was P7. He must have had a full pushback. He goes back to 30th. My goodness, was it a full line behind to go from 7th to 30th?
Mossman was a pushback and passing under yellow. And again, as we talked about how close the field was, again, pushback was either 3 or 6 seconds.
Yep.
The passing under yellow is 10. So that's 16 seconds. So that puts you back.
Wow. So Gus Lawrence ends up with the win. So the celebration was correct. Although they would have to wait for a little bit before they could actually really rip it up. So Gus Lawrence does get the win for Rollison Performance Group. Caden McQueen ends up going up into second spot. Not what he wanted, of course. Jacopo Martinez ends up in third. Olin Galley up into fourth. And Austin Garrison ends up P5 at the end of that one. David, one of the things about, again, this is for you as the stat man, Joe Turney does not back up his victory from the year before. Let's talk about winners of the Pro X30 category at the SuperNationals.
What are you asking? I'm kind of
how many repeat winners have we had?
Oh, we've had 0. Yeah.
Big Turney was going to be the first driver ever to repeat as a Pro X30 or Tag Senior race winner. That to me, that's still ridiculous.
Well, Rob, he actually held both wins at one time.
What's that?
On the day.
Oh, yeah.
He had
right.
KA senior win as
That's
well,
true,
too.
That's true.
So
That's true.
he technically had the win. He had technically had defended the win at one point for both categories.
At one point in the weekend, he was 4 for 4.
There you go.
He
now he's 2 for 4.
Now he's 2 for 4. There you go. All in Galley, we mentioned coming up to 4th position with all those penalties. He is also the hard charger. 38th to 4th, up 34 spots for Galley on the CRG, the veteran driver, pushing forward, taking advantage of all the chaos up front, all the defending that brought everybody back into the fight. All in Galley on the podium, P4 ahead of Austin Garrison.
That's a stat I don't have, Rob, is how many drivers have been able to go from the LCQ to the podium.
That's a really good question. That's LCQ. You're right.
It's very few, if any. So I think we did see one where did we just talk about that? Was it KA senior? Maybe we saw that, or
I'll have to go back and look at that.
Yeah. So just that's wild.
Yeah,
that shows you just how chaotic that 25 lap main event was. Because
exactly that. Yeah.
I mean, you could pick off you could have had a clean run, not have any pushback, just moving your way forward, because again, there was change for position every single lap, no matter what position you were in.
I'd said during the broadcast, you could just feel how everything was amped up to another level, right? It was just absolute chaos out there. Everybody was pushing so hard. Hey, listen, with all this happening, you and I literally go 2-2 for points in predictions. That's all we can come up with. That's funny.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to unpack here in terms of that. So yeah, we went 2 for 2 points and 2 points. Excuse me, because we only had 2 drivers in the top 5. I had Lawrence and McQueen. You had Garrison and McQueen. So that was the only points. We didn't have anybody in the position. So this class and Micro Swift were our 2 worst classes. Let me get that right. KA Senior, X30 Senior, and Micro Swift are the classes where we did not pick anybody in the correct position.
Okay. Well, there you go. Well, I always say the correct position is tough unless it's the win. You're picking the winner, right? Hard to pick who's going to finish second, but
yeah, we did well in the Masters categories.
Yeah. All right, so again, after these are all playing out, I feel like, where am I here? I feel like I was down by 1, then I'm down by 3 after that one. After Mini Swift, I'm down by 4. So I'm down by 4 going in to Pro Shifter. Folks, we'll unpack that class after
my
this.
Gosh.
Stay tuned. We'll be back. Is IndyCar your dream? If it is, for 2024 and beyond, the path from karting to IndyCar has gotten even clearer. It's time to look into the new USF Juniors program and the Tatis JR23. As a first step of the USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tires, the USF Junior Series will feature a 6-event, 13-race schedule to train racers for the move into the USF 2000 Championship presented by Continental Tires. 3 of the events in 2024 will run alongside IndyCar at Mid-Ohio, Road America, and Portland. The champion will win a scholarship worth over $263,000, and there's a total prize fund that will exceed $330,000. The series utilizes the state-of-the-art Tatis JR23 race car, which is a development version of the USF 22 used in USF 2000. It's the ideal entry point for career-minded karters moving into the car racing ladder. Safety is always front and center in the minds of the series promoters, and the new USF Juniors car also features the Halo, and races are supported by members of the AMR IndyCar safety team. If IndyCar is your goal, USF Juniors is the starting line. For more information, visit www.usfjuniors.com and follow USF Juniors on social media. In karting, it's important to be supported by the right people. With over 40 years of experience in the sport, Trinity Karting Group has everything you need to make your program successful. We do it all, and we do it right. We offer trackside support and arrive and drive programs at many of karting's biggest East Coast events, full product sales and service, and professional coaching from our experienced staff. Trinity Karting Group is a full-service operation based at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, which gives us access to our custom-designed driver training facility. This allows us to offer one-on-one coaching to take you to the next level. From arrive and driving coaching programs to the parts you need, let Trinity Karting Group provide you with customer service and a racing experience second to none. Trinity Karting Group is an official Kart Republic race team, providing full trackside support at all the major USA karting events, including the SCUSA Pro Tour, United States Pro Kart Series, the SCUSA SuperNationals, and other events throughout the season. TKG has Kart Republic, IAME, MG Navinco tires, and more products in stock for those in Ohio and the Midwest region. Trinity Karting Group has a long history in the sport, a winning pedigree, and we're dedicated to driver development. We take pride in our professional approach and our positive attitude. Let us build a custom race program for you. Give us a call at 513-421-4463 or check us out online at trinitykartinggroup.com. We're back at it, folks. Final race report of this year's SuperNationals. Pro Shifter up next. Again, the race report brought to you by Franklin Motorsports. Rob Howden here, alongside David Cole. Here's the headline for Pro Shifter. Van Wallstein comes from 16th to win career first at SuperNationals.
Well, let's be honest, Rob. This guy was the quickest guy all week long. Did have to overcome some adversity. As the Dutch driver, Senna Van Wallstein, set fast time in qualifying at 44.185 to beat out last year's potential winner, Marcus Kajak in second, the Frenchman Mateos Spurgal in third, I can never say his name.
Corentin
Rousseau in fourth, and then Christian Bertucca in the fifth position. So Van Wallstein goes and dominates the opening heat race. Unfortunately for him, he, along with Rousseau, are found to be illegal with bodywork issue. I believe it had to do with the rear bumper
width. Yeah,
correct. I think it was the rear bumper.
Yeah, but it was the rear bumper width was too wide.
There you go. So too wide. I don't know why they didn't say that if it was the rear bumper.
Yes, I know.
Because
no, but then also I heard it was actual track width as well. That wasn't that came from, I think that came from Xander. He had heard that it was track width as well.
That's kind of the problem when the results don't give you the information you are looking for, because the results actually say bodywork too wide. Okay, are we talking nose piece? Are we talking fairing? Are we talking side pods? What is it? I could have swore that was side pods were too wide and they were sticking out too wide. I can't remember the rule. Somebody wrote down the rule. I forgot to look it up to put in this, but either way, they were found to be illegal, so they were given a disqualification. I believe Bertucca was another one as well.
Yeah, and Dave,
Bertucca was the other one. It was Rousseau that had a issue in the heat race.
Full disqualification, like last.
Dead last, yeah.
For a couple millimeters from the pump.
Yeah, so that definitely hurt them, or both of them, in terms of heat race points. In the second heat race, it was a Frenchman, Spurgal, taking the win. Van Wallstein came through to pick up the remaining two heat race wins that he was starting from the pole position. Kajak won in round two, but he was given, a restart jump start penalty. That race was red flag. They got restarted. He brought the field down really slow and then jumped, I guess, before the
green flag.
Green flag.
On the single file restart, it's the green flag that starts the race. I think he got rolling early.
Yeah. I mean, he did it full F1 style, right? You bring everybody slow and you punch it when you want to go, and so I think that's the European way, where here you have to go when the green flag waves. So he was given a jump start penalty that put Rousseau on the race win in the second heat race to close out Friday evening. So they don't race again until Sunday morning because of the weather situation we had on Saturday. I didn't even think about that till just now.
What's that?
They got to go out for their warm up, right, in the wet, and then they didn't race at all. So they got one session on Saturday.
Oh, that's true.
the pro shifter and pro X30.
Yeah, you're right.
So very, very unique circumstances there. So in the morning, as I said, Van Waldstein wins his heat race. And then the second heat race won by Victor Gustafsson, who was the winner after Van Waldstein was DQ'd in the opening heat race. So the former world champion, 2 heat wins and a third, put him on the pole position for the main event. Kajak in second. Last year's world champion, Giuseppe Palumbo in third, Ricardo Longhi in fourth, and then former Pro Tour champion Matheus Morgado and former world champion as well, starting from the 5th position. So that set up the main event to close out Super Sunday.
Yeah, not a great launch off the line as well for Gustafsson from the pole position. Kajak actually got the whole shot and was able to pull out a pretty big lead early on, Dave.
Yeah, kind of pushed wide. Victor did at the going into turn 1, which kind of bottlenecked everybody as Kajak got the whole shot, as you said, and was able to kind of pull away out to a pretty good lead. In opening lap, turn number 4, we lost 2 of our top contenders, Morgado being one of them, and then Mateos Spurgel. Yeah. Those 2 got together. I was told they got hit from behind, which kind of put them into one another. Yep. That put them into the wall in turn number 4 and out of the race before it even began. So Kajak out to a big lead, but eventually it was Pedro Hildebrand, the former winner at the SuperNationals, who took over the lead on lap 8. And they had a pretty good gap. Hildebrand built up a pretty good back gap as Kajak was kind of getting under attack from a second group that was coming through. In that group included Palumbo and Jay Irwin and Kyle Wick, and eventually Senna Van Waldstein, who was working his way up there as well. During some of the racing action, Palumbo coming out of what I believe turn 12, there was a little bit of contact and then hard contact with Irwin going into the wall and essentially out of the race. And they actually black flagged Palumbo for the contact where Palumbo recognized and eventually pulled off the racetrack.
Yeah, it was, they were racing hard, as you know, out of turn 10 through turn number 11. Then there was up over the curb of turn number 12. And I think Palumbo tried to make a move to the inside and on Irwin, got into the curb a little bit. They came out side by side, and all of a sudden Palumbo just moved straight to the left. And it just put Irwin into the barriers there. He hammered the barriers all the way down to the apex and came to a stop. Palumbo was able to continue, and as you said, the call from SCUSA officials quickly came down that it was going to be an on-track black flag, not a penalty post-race, on-track black flag for that flagrant contact. So, as you said, he was given the black. He was done. That was it for him. Irwin, of course, out of the race as well, kind of opened things up. As you said, for Kajak there, and allowed Wick to roll through cleanly as well. Wick was able to stay to the right side of it. He was right behind Palumbo coming through. So kind of he saw it all happen and then worked around from there.
Yeah, all that contact allowed Van Waldstein to get up into third, and then eventually by Kajak, who was kind of the blocker in all of that scenario, as he was very tough to get around at that time. But Van Waldstein, I think it was about a 2-second advantage or disadvantage that he had to Hildebrand, who was out front, and Van Waldstein was able to probably like 2/10 here, 3/10 there, lap by lap, eventually reel in Hildebrand, and it didn't take long. Once he got there, was able to get around him and into the lead on lap number 20. And then from there led the last 5 laps to score a massive victory from 16th all the way to first, winning by 0.7 of a second.
Yeah, just a masterclass, no doubt about that. Great launch from 16th, as we had said, after a couple of heat race wins and then the disqualification from the opening race there. So starts 16th, and as we said, powered his way forward and just an impressive run to be able to come away with the victory. Almost 0.8 of a second was the gap he developed, having gotten by Hildebrand. Hildebrand still a strong run into second spot from 9th on the grid. Kajak ends up finishing in the 3rd spot because Kyle Wick, who was 3rd on the racetrack, David, at DQ for a couple of millimeters long, I think in the exhaust U-bend, where the pipe again turns to get to the silencer. Just odd there for sure.
Yeah, an odd thing. Obviously, measurements are pretty solid in terms of this is how it's measured and this is what it's supposed to be. So again, probably just something that they didn't expect to have happen. So tough for Wick, who had an amazing drive, started 11th and got his way all the way up into third. Was definitely one of the quickest drivers on the racetrack.
No doubt. So his disqualification moves Kajak from 4th up into 3rd. AJ Myers, another tremendous drive. He had an issue one of the heat races, was deep in the pack. Another drive from deep in the field to a podium for AJ Myers. 21st on the grid, getting rolling. Again, the inside of row 11. He ends up getting himself up on that magic cart to P5. The disqualification for Wick moves him to 4th. And that also brings young Massimo Valiante onto the podium. He was right in the middle of the fight in the heat races as well, was battling strongly. Started 13th, but David got himself up to that fight there, that secondary fight, and was right in the middle of it, battling back and forth. And for him, a couple of years of not making the main event, and the first time's coming down to run Pro Shift at the SuperNats, to turn it around for Ital Kart and go P5. What a huge result for Valiante.
I mean, a massive turnaround because, as you said, did not make the main event over the last 2 years at the SuperNationals. To be able to do that and to come back the next year and be on the podium, amazing. It definitely shows the improvement he's made throughout the year. We saw that at Rock Vegas. He was right there with Adrian Renaudin and Jacob Gulick all week long, finishing third at that, or finishing second actually, because he got around Renaudin. So just an amazing improvement for him.
Yeah, the maturity, the growth, and of course the confidence coming off that Rock Vegas run for Valiante to work his way up to 5th.
And a little bit of it's in the genes, right?
I think so. Yeah, a little bit. His dad did pretty good in karting.
A 3-time winner. Yeah,
no doubt about that. So yeah. And Italian Motors driver coming home P5. Hard charger was actually Josh Conker, leveraging the guaranteed Super Sunday starting spot for his position in the top 3 in the points in the SCUSA Pro Tour. Did not have to run the LCQ. Started 41st, up 22 positions. Josh takes that Maranello to 19th. David, pretty solid run from outside the LCQ, 41st into the top 20.
Yeah, not exactly the event he wanted to have. He did get up to 8th in one of the heat races, but 32nd and 22nd put him outside the top 34 in terms of points for the heat races. So, he was able to avoid the LCQ with the guaranteed Super Sunday starting spots and use that to his advantage. Again, 22 spots and 25 laps.
Pretty impressive. Impressive, obviously, from Stenovan Walshing, an amazing drive for him, a fantastic, obviously, effort for Valiante. Let's talk about the predictions, David, because the great stuff just keeps coming.
Do we have to talk about it?
Let's talk about the predictions, David, how things go between you and me in Pro Shifter.
I don't want to really talk about
it. Listen, you're all full of piss and vinegar last year when you were kicking my ass left and right. Respect.
Respect for you scoring the highest score in Pro Shifter for the entire event. So 14 points in total, which is the high mark of the event. You had 3 in the top 5, including correctly picking the winner, which was Senna Van Waldstein. And second. And 4th place with AJ Myers. So all 3 of your top 5 were in the correct positions, getting you 14 points, which was the highest score of any category. I had 3 drivers in the top 5. I had Senna Van Waldstein, Marcus Kajak, who I picked as the winner, and AJ Myers. So none of those were in the correct positions. So so 3 points for me and 14 for you.
There you go, folks. Commercial break. When we get back, we'll wrap things up. We'll wrap up the predictions as well. We'll look at the Constructors Championship overall. We gave a little taste of that yesterday, and we'll wrap it all up with the EKN Trackside Live Race Calendar, our final one for 2025. Check out any major national karting event, and what's the common thread? Speed Concepts Racing. Up front, in every class, every weekend. The Speed family has been at the forefront of American karting for over 25 years, and Speed Concepts Racing is the sole dedication of Father Mike Speed and his multi-time championship-winning son Alex Speed. This program is all about passion for the sport and a dedication to winning. They know how to get it done. If you're a senior driver ready to put yourself amongst the best in the country, Speed Concepts Racing is the program for you. We can win the big races. You just need to be in the seat. The Speeds program has delivered time over time in the junior classes as well, helping to elevate a long list of young drivers from mid-pack to potential race winners. Speed Concepts Racing has the perfect equation of coaching, driver development, and technical knowledge to elevate your program. Arrive and drive opportunities are available for the remainder of the 2023 season, and we're locking in seats for 2024 as well. If you're ready to take your career to the next level, contact Speed Concepts Racing through email at speedconceptsracing@gmail.com. Take advantage of the deals available through RTX USA Group, an official distributor for Rotax karting products in the United States. RTX USA Group provides Rotax engines, Mojo tires, and XPS products to dealers and competitors in the southern U.S. states, from their base in Florida all the way to California. Take advantage of their engine purchase offer, which gives you 2 sets of Mojo D5 tires when you purchase a Rotax Max Evo or the Rotax DD2 Max Evo. For those looking to add a Rotax Micro Max Evo MY20 or a Rotax Mini Max Evo MY-I20 to their lineup, those customers will be provided with 2 sets of Mojo D2 tires. Customers who purchase a Rotax Junior Max Evo won't be left out, also receiving 2 sets of Mojo D2 tires. RTX is also introducing the new Mojo Club, with opportunities to save on Mojo tires by bundling them together. Learn more about becoming a dealer or joining the Mojo Club by visiting rtxkarting.com today. All right, time to cap things off for this edition of the EKN Debrief, the second of 2 parts for the SuperNationals 28th, all apart and capping off our EKN trackside coverage for this year's SuperNet. It's been a fantastic year, starting with the Winter Series, of course, in Florida, all the way here now to cap things off in Las Vegas. Rob Howden here alongside David Cole. David, let's wrap things up. What do you got for notes to wrap up this year's SuperNats?
Sorry, I was on the other page. As we talked about in the numbers, 3rd largest SuperNationals, largest with 9 categories at the event. So we have, again, a new bar set in terms of having 9 classes at the SuperNationals. And again, trying to get back to that 600 mark.
We talked yesterday about it as well. There were numerous red flags. They are expected to be associated with temp circuit racing. You know, the barriers on the outside of every corner. When you make a mistake, you don't just go off the racetrack in the grass and come back on. You're into the barriers. There's some pretty hard wrecks, depending on the parts of the racetrack where the wrecks happen. But yeah, David, numerous red flags. I don't think, the injuries themselves were low. Ty Fisher, as we know, with a broken bone in his arm, upper arm, or lower arm rather, by his wrist. Otherwise, for the most part, everybody kind of getting through cleanly. Scrapes, headaches, bumps and bangs. But thankfully, no other issues that I know of, at least myself.
No, I don't think of any other major issues. I think just that broken wrist is the worst of it. So that's good in that sense. Most everybody was able to walk away. Those were checked out medically, were cleared of any major injuries. So that's good in terms of that. And again, it's just kind of the nature of the beast in terms of temporary events. I think there could be some ways to kind of help get around it. Looking at the racetrack, Rob, I was thinking, there's got to be a way to kind of open up that opening corner to allow for some exit space there in terms of wrecks. That could help in terms of that. But a lot of them were mostly from turn 8 or turn 7, where they hit the walls very hard. Yeah. And again, because they're locked down to stop them from sliding or moving around, it's very tough when you do make impact with them. Yeah,
indeed. Dave, what else you got? I know you got a little line here saying a historic Super Sunday. You are the stat man. What do you got first?
Well, let's start with X30 Junior, Rob. The first time we've seen Kart Republic win in that category by Dean Hugendorn. So he gives Kart Republic its first ever victory in that category. So that's a good stat there. Mini Swift, we have 9 different winners over 9 editions of that category. You can even count the first 6 years when it was Tag Cadet. So over the, let me see, over the 15 different winners in that category. When you go back to 2010, when Patricio Award won the first category. Yeah, again, just it's that alone, because we've had drivers race back-to-back years, but still, that win list is just pretty amazing to look at. Pro Shifter, I think, we already talked about how this was the largest field ever in the category at 78 drivers. 74 was our previous high. That was back in 2022. It felt like last year and the year before that were larger. I guess they weren't in terms of actual drivers who were on racetracks. So yeah, this year was the largest that we've had in Pro Shifter. We're Tag Senior again. How many did I say, Rob? 22 different winners in 22 editions of the category.
That's absolutely amazing to me. That again, listen, mini, you realize that you're not going to have a lot of, the opportunity to get a repeat winner's tougher because the drivers are eventually going to move through to juniors, right? It's when you get to that senior class and these guys are in the sport for 5, 10 years, whatever, how many years the top guys stay in karting, that you don't see a repeat winner. I think it speaks to how tough it is to win at this race. We saw Ryan Norberg try so many years to win it, right? Finally able to get it, and the relief that when he got that first win. It's like trying to win the Indianapolis 500. It's just the hardest thing to do because, as they say about Indianapolis, it picks its winners, right? It's not the driver, the track itself and the event picks the winners. It feels like that. Sometimes that's the same way at the SuperNats, where it kind of picks the winners and of who's going to come away with the victory each year. It's amazing to me.
Yeah, and then also in Pro Shifter, third time Superkart has won. The other 2 times with Anthony Abbas, 2011 and 2013.
There you go. Big win for, as you said, for Superkart. There you have it, folks, for the wrap-up. Let's wrap up the predictions right now as well, David. Obviously, I had a big win there in Pro Shifter. You were able to take the top points in X30 Junior and Mini Swift. We tied for Pro X30. You had that 1 point lead coming in, David, on the day. You were 25-24 in a part 1, the first 5 categories on the docket. Last 4, though, Rob 23, David 15, Rob 47, Dave 40. Did I win? We are the champions, my friend.
It must be you not sleeping. Or you sleeping and
I slept so well. Well, listen, I picked it before that, David. Sorry to tell you.
Well, again, dude, you were sleeping more than I was when I made my picks.
That's definitely true. Dude, I kicked your butt. This is amazing.
So I had 4. I had better scores in 4 of the 9. You only had 3. What? Yeah. Hold on. Let me figure this out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, 1.
Well, yes. Listen, I won by 7, but I also beat you by 11 in the final one. So.
Yeah, that did it. That did it. So, for some reason you got Pro Shifter figured out. I'm not sure why.
Hey, was it K100 Masters last year or 2 years ago that you nailed? Like you had like 4 of the 5 and they were all in the right spot or something like that.
I mean, I can pull that up if you want to keep talking.
I will. I'll go Constructors Championship. You bring that back up because I'm pretty sure that Tag Master one. I was like, I'm done. There's no way I can recover from this because I think of the 5, you picked 4 guys and they were all in the right spot. David will look at that. Constructors Championship overall, we talked about them yesterday. 7 brands for 9 wins. That's an amazing thing. 2 wins for Kart Republic, as David had said, winning their first X30 junior category. They won both of them, both juniors, right, with Noah Baglin and Dean Hugendorn. A couple for Cosmic as well. Superkart, as we know, for Son of Van Wallstein, Barrel Art, Factory Kart, Parolin, and Bennett coming away with the wins. Only 2 of the brands getting 2 victories on the weekend. So, man, almost locking it down for 9 for 9. But 7 brands winning over the 9 races on the weekend.
So what's your total for this
47.
Time? So that was the same total you had last year.
Wow.
So what does that tell you?
You really sucked.
I need to sleep.
You need some sleep.
I had 69 points last year, Rob.
Wow, damn. See, there you go. Hey, this is a big drop for you.
So yeah, Master
You
Shifter,
will be relegated. You're relegated.
I'm not. I
You're
can't
going-
be relegated.
You're going
I'm
down to
still-
the next level. You're going down to the B team.
So yeah, I had 15 and 16 in the 2 Masters categories, not to mention 11 in micro.
See, there you go.
So the double digits are what killing me this year, because let me see, I only had 1 double digit score.
I will say this too,
And
Dave.
you only had 1 double digit score.
There were a lot of penalties that played out that took guys that we had in the top 5 off.
Yeah, so I should blame Scusa more than anything.
No, whoa. Don't listen. This is a whole other podcast because the ridiculous racing that we had at the track there this past weekend. People are like, I love it. People are like, oh, Scusa should do this. Scusa should do that. It's the drivers that are driving the go-karts, folks.
It is.
If they're being rough, if they're wrecking each other, it's the driver first. Driver first, coaches second, Scusa third. Because Scusa, listen, like I've said before, if they want to clean this up, they can come in and clean it up super quick. All the rough driving goes away really quick. There are racers that will not be back till the next season, and there are going to be team owners and parents that are going to be pissed off as hell. But the minute somebody clears somebody out, park the guy for 6 months. Done. Across all karting. Like, again, the partnership between USPKS, Stars, whatever, Scusa, with the licensing and do it. If you want to stop this, just park a guy for 6 months. Listen, how many guys? They excluded a bunch of guys for the swerve this weekend, out of the weekend, right? Guys were removed from the race this weekend. You don't see it because we don't promote. Nobody really promotes all the penalties at the end of the day. But the bottom line is there were guys that were excluded from the weekend.
I think at least 3.
Yeah, for what they call the Euro swerve. Let's just call it swerve. Right? The bottom line is that it's easy to stop it. It's just people will be pissed. A parent's gonna be like, "Oh no, you can't do that to my kid. Sorry, your kid did this, wrecked the kid. You're done. 3 months suspension." Right? It hurts karting. The guy could go some other different direction. It hurts the teams. It's got to come from the drivers first and foremost, folks. Drivers and coaches first and foremost. Because Scusa, USPKS, Stars, CKNA, any organization can stop this racing. It just means people don't get to race anymore. There you go. I digress.
You digress.
I digress.
Yeah. So yeah, looking at points, 69 I had last year, so that was big. You had 47.
But this is this year.
Yeah, this year.
The
year before that, 2023, I had 58. You had 37.
So I had a better year this year than 2 years ago.
So you've definitely improved. So,
I am the winner.
And then in 2022, we did terrible.
Yeah, we did. I remember that. I do remember that.
27 for me and 16 for you.
Yeah, it was not good.
It was not good.
It was not good. But so I had a good year. Well, listen, I also had like if you take away the points I got from. You're going to pick Van Wolstein coming in anyways. Let's be real. He's a world champion. He's been there before.
I didn't.
To the pole. Yeah, you did not actually. Yeah, you did not.
I
you
thought
Kajak. I thought Kajak was coming back.
I thought there was going to be redemption for him.
The redemption win.
So,
all right, folks, let's wrap things up. I did the Constructors Championship. Let's wrap it up with the EKN Trackside Live Race Calendar. We did it yesterday. We'll do it one more time. Today's presented by Odenthal Racing Products. Motor mounts are critical to producing 100% of the power your engine has and to get you on the podium each and every time. Odenthal Racing Products provides the best in the karting market today. Odenthal Racing Products is a family-owned and operated business with decades of karting experience providing products with unmatched quality and a value for the karting market. Check out their Pro Series mount for 2-cycle engines and their 4-cycle Easy Set for the Briggs & Stratton 206 power plant. Head to odenthalracing.com and find a dealer near you. Odenthal Racing Products, made in the USA. All right, Dave, let's wrap things up. We did this yesterday. Essentially, January, February, to kick things off. You're off for 50 days or 49 days?
49 today.
49 days. David gets it home to recharge. January 9th through the 11th for the Superkarts USA Winter Series. Both of the Winter Series events taking place at Speed Sports Racing Park in New Caney, Texas. It'll be a Texas-based Winter Series this year, or next year rather, in 2026. January 9th to the 11th. February 13th to the 15th. Back to Texas, David. Great racetrack for next year's Winter Series.
I'm interested to find out if they do the same direction both weekends or if they're going to change it up and go backwards.
Great question.
Now, the backwards is a little sketchy in terms of safety situations where they definitely would have to put up a wall along the grid area coming back this way. Unless they do some kind of weird different layout, but I don't know if that exists or or possible. I mean, they could do maybe they don't have a bus stop there on the front stretch, do they?
Lots of podcasts between now and then, David.
Yeah. Lots of time to talk about that.
Last but not least, from there, you'll go straight to the Challenge of the Americas. I'll be there with you as well. K1 Circuit at Winchester, California. It's the Challenge of the Americas, kicking things off on February 20th to 22nd. So there you go. That's as the next races. They're a long way away, almost 2 months away, 49 days, Davis has said. So, Dave, that caps things off for our coverage of the Superkarts USA Super Nationals 28. We're done. Good stuff.
Yeah, looking back at the predictions, because I'm not done with it. We did both correctly say we both had 21 correct top 5 predictions. So nice. We matched there. Mm-hmm. So again, it was you correctly picking where drivers were going to be.
Dave, I'm going to sit back right now and give yourself the opportunity to make yourself feel better, because you're obviously diving.
I don't feel better. Sleep would make me feel better. So
you need some sleep.
I'll let you bask in this enjoyment. But I think overall we're just getting better, Rob. You finally have caught up to my intelligence in terms of predictions, so I bring on the adversarial pursuit of trying to take me down.
We're back. Now you have to try to take me down, because the belt remains here with me.
I mean, it is your belt. I did give you the belt, so. Yes. Maybe we can come up with some kind of other trophy or bragging rights or.
Listen, I'll figure out what. Okay, you're good. That's good. That's a good call. I'll figure out what I want to buy for myself.
To wrap up the Super Nationals again, just fourth year overall at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We're not quite sure what's going to happen in 2026 in terms of, are they going to go back there? Are they looking for a new location? What's the future of the Super Nationals? I think that's kind of where we're at right now. In looking at the 29th edition of the Super Nationals.
No doubt about that. 29, 30's coming right around the corner. It all started back in 1997 out at what was then Race Kart City Raceway. Eventually next year becoming Las Vegas Motor Speedway. As we know, the journey, of course, had led into Las Vegas at the Rio, from there to Sam Boyd Stadium, back to the Rio. Las Vegas Convention Center had a couple of years as well. And as we know, out at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It was a fantastic week for sure. The rain, of course, made things interesting on Saturday evening. Made what was the biggest and most hectic Super Sunday I think we've ever had, with all those races getting pushed on to Sunday morning. 4 heat races, pro heat races, 3 LCQs, made for a long day. But again, shout out to everybody that was there and made this event possible. David, congrats and thanks to you for a fantastic week of coverage. I had a chance to have a great time working with the guys from Kart Chaser, again, doing the commentary alongside my good friend Mike Smith and Xander Clemens, of course, joining us for some of the pro categories as well. Just a great time to be at the racetrack once again. But that wraps things up again for our coverage, our EKN trackside coverage of this year's Superkarts USA Super Nationals 28, folks. We thank you for tuning in to all of our coverage. Big thank you to all the kudos that you gave to David throughout his coverage throughout the week as well. But that caps things off. And it also caps off 2025 for us. Again, as David said, a number of weeks at home, press the reset button, recharge before we get set to go again in 2026. We'll have lots of more podcasts coming through this downtime. We're going to get the roundtable going. There's a lot of stuff we're rolling on. Expect a This Week in Karting coming up here soon as well. We'll give David a chance to catch up on some sleep, a few days off here and there. But again, thank you so much for tuning in, folks. On behalf of David Cole, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.